Hello and welcome to Warlords of Archaios. In this video we're going to be painting up these Orc Boar Riders. You can find these free at our website warlordsofarchaios.com. They're all part of the game and you're free to 3D print these and paint them yourself. In this video we're going to go on how to paint them and I hope you stick around till after the intro. Alright, first step we're going to do here is paint Scar Snick Green on these on their skin. So I'm going to go ahead and give your paints a shake. These are now called Warhammer paints, not Citadel, because branding, I guess. Okay, we got our wet palette. Keeps the paint, not too much paint, helps keep it flowing. Okay, and you're just going to go around painting all the skin areas. Okay, take your time. There's also a little, goes in a little bit, the shirt. Take your time painting around these. Oh, I also almost forgot. These guys were primed in several colors. So, the first spray was Fur Brown by Army Painter for the brown boars. Then the other guy was first sprayed in this black primer here, Chaos Black by Citadel Color, which is again called Warhammer Color or Warhammer Paint, I forget, I haven't seen that. And then White Scar from above. So I primed the whole thing black, this guy, and then just from the top sprayed him, and that's how we get this, which is called a zenithal highlight in the Warhammer painting world, or this isn't Warhammer, but miniature painting world. And alright, we'll continue painting the skin. So just take your time working around. Some of them have their feet showing and their muscles. Just go around painting this green all around them. Alright, so for this next step, we're going to use this Athonian camo shade to then wash over all the green skin. So just take your time working around all the green skin with the camo shade, and that will get within all these crevices. Alright, so next, we're going to start painting the red on these guys. So we're going to use Mephiston Red. So this is you can see the new brand here. Oh, sorry, my fan is still going. My bad. This is Mephiston Red, and it's Warhammer color. They changed the branding for whatever reason. So, put some of this on the palette, and then just go around picking some of the panels. So for example, up here on this guy's helmet, and you don't have to do red, you can do whatever color you'd like to do. I'm just following the box art, which the orcs wear. Their metallics are painted red. So, go ahead and go around to paint all these parts red. So I'm going to paint this red. Almost looks like a Santa Claus hat, funnily enough. Got this red, and then as well the Orc's upper helmet here, red. Oh, I forgot to thin this one down, that's my fault. I could always move the paint around so it doesn't pool. So I'm just going to work my way around. I'm leaving this because I'm going to paint it middle. And I'm going to do his bracers as well. This part here, bracers over here. Some part of the handle as well. actually on top of the sponge. Oh well. On my wet palette, whatever, it's not the end of the world. It's like, why is it pooling like that? Alright, after that we could do the metallics. So we're going to be using, if it will get in focus, lead belcher. And these are the same company, it's just they changed it for whatever reason. It's still Citadel color, they just wanted to rebrand it. So we're going to do the weapons here. The bottom jaw piece, this orc, and this rim that connects this tusk. We're also going to paint the metal on the actual boar's face over here. Paint it all in metallic. This paint I find quite thin, even straight out of the pot, so I'm using it straight out of the pot. Alright, so we're on to the next step here. So the next step is we're going to paint the pants of these guys black. Help separate between the orc and the boar rider. But the other thing we're going to paint black is this boar, so that we have some variety in our boars. So we'll have some boars black, some boars brown. So just go around here. Do these black. I put it on the wet palette because this black paint tends to be thick for some reason. Really take your time because I don't want to get it on these boars. They're already kind of painted brown, but you know what, I am going to paint over them. They're not the kind of brown I wanted. They're more the that beige-ish brown that I have all my orcs dressed in. That leathery brown, which I don't want for my boars. I don't want them to be that color. So yeah, so just work your way around painting all their pants that color. See, it adds a really nice separation between the boar and the orc. So yeah, go ahead and go around painting their pants like that. Take your time around here because you really gotta kind of... You don't want to use nice brushes for this, by the way. Base coating. If you guys bought yourselves any nice brushes, you don't want to use them for stuff like this because you gotta get in there. You might mess up the bristles. So, and then I got some on here. You can wipe it off, but it's not a big deal. You can always go over with the same color over that. So yeah, just take your time working around painting that. And you can see, take a look at the parts I painted red and metal as reference. And we'll come back. Alright, next step. So now I've done the black. Done the black on the boars here. And the pants. You'll notice he's got belts, so I kept those belts that like leather color, so they show through. So the black helps separate the orc riding and the rider. And for his pants, I didn't paint them black because I'm going to paint him that leather color. So the next color I want to do is a skin tone. So this is Kislev Flesh. Okay, I'll paint this skin tone. Mine's a bit gunked up, so I'm going to use the wet palette. Just give it a liberal coat all over these pigs' faces. It's almost like something you paint a human soldier's flesh with. Basically just go around painting the piggies' faces with this. Might need more than one coat. Better you do 2 thin coats than 1 thick one. And he's got kind of this bottom lip over here. So take your time working around all these boars' faces. it'll dry a little less, intense. Yeah, so go ahead and do that. Alright, so we painted up their faces, the boars themselves, their faces. So now what we're going to do is we're going to paint up, let's see, what can we do next? We're going to do their ropes and stuff, so we're gonna use this Xandri dust. It's almost like a dried bone kind of color, khaki, I guess some people call it. We're gonna use that. We're going to paint up the ropes, stuff like that. This huge net that one of the Orc Boar Riders has. Where's the... Could do little ropes like these as well. Oh, I got some. Don't be afraid to wipe off paint if it's still wet. But yeah, it's mostly just this net. It's actually a lot of just this guy in particular. So we're going to paint his net this color. I didn't paint the hooks because it was going to be really pain to paint this color and then avoid the hooks. And he's also got a rope here holding in his sword. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. Let's just work your way around doing that. Alright, next step, we're going to paint the Boar Riders this Mournfang brown, the actual boar themselves, because they're kind of this leather brown right now. And then I'm going to paint the bases that color as well. Similar, that chocolatey brown. And this, I want to water down, at least, especially for the bases, I want to water this down. In our in our wet palette, and then I'm going to grab a little bit of water here, just a touch, to make it watered down a lot more. And then I can go in here, really just get in there. Now the difference is going to be subtle. You won't be able to. I don't even know if you can see it on camera. Or she got the light on. Maybe you can see better. Hold on a second. Yeah, you can see the difference. So there is a bit of a difference in color. You don't have to do this. If you're happy with the brown, you can leave it where it is, but this will help have a bit of difference between what the shirt the orc is wearing and the boar himself as well. So just go around painting the base this color and the boar. So look, the boar's fur is anything from like here, let's say. Paint that. That'll help, have a difference between the boar and the leather that the orc is wearing. Even though we'd assume a lot of their leather would be, probably boar hide, Alright, so just go around doing that. And come back when that's all sorted out. Alright, next step is to start the hooves. So we're going to do Balor Brown for the hooves. Alright, get a little dollop in our wet palette. Now we're going to come over here and start the hooves so you can see the hooves. I like to call it a vomit color, but this is just to base coat the hooves in this color. Go around doing all the hooves with this color. Go ahead and do that. Alright, so I base coated Balor Brown, the teeth as well, and the hooves. Now we're going to do something kind of boring. Paint the guy I primed black and white. Paint his shirt. So this part here. See, it's that same kind of leathery brown. I'm going to go ahead and do that. I need a bigger brush for this, of course. So work your way around painting that. Probably won't skip this step, I'll just do it while on camera here. Oh, I definitely got some on the skin there. Try not to do that because it's very hard to fix because of the wash. So like I said, I'm painting even his pants leather, even though most orcs have the black pants, so that there's nice separation between him and the boar. And there we go, his clothes are done. Well, at least there will be a dry brush for him as well shortly. So these guys, as you can see, are coming along. Alright, and next I'm going to be dry brushing the skin of these orcs once he dries up. Actually, before that, since we have time, we might as well put a wash down while we wait for everything to dry. So we're going to do a Agrax Urshade in these nets, the net over here. So this will get in all these crevices here without having to do too much work. You can see how it pools in all the holes, right? And then we can come back and dry brush it to bring back some of it so it's not all dark like this. Obviously where it's pooling too much, I'm trying to move it around so it doesn't do that. I'm also going to do the fur over here. It's also a good place to get that separation between the fur and the net. Sorry, the fur and his helmet. The brown wash, and then after I do this, because I'm going to have to wait for drying time for the clothes I just put in him before I dry brush the skin, is I'm going to do the wood for these guys. So the wood for these guys, I like to use a black wash for wood. You can use the brown as well if you had just one wash. So this is like a black wash in all oil. And there's other companies that make these paints. You don't have to use Games Workshop. They tend to be on the more expensive side, obviously. Always. So base coat the wood here. Also you could do the red. I'm going to do around these metal parts too, kind of like a black lining. I'll bring out some of the definition. I'm avoiding most of the parts because I want some of it to still be that bright silver. I'm just going where there's like lines and whatnot. You can see that. I'm also going to go around the metal parts on the red armor here, the spikes, the washes. I don't want it pooling too much. I tend to do that sometimes. They call that like coffee staining or whatever. I want to avoid that. It for sure doesn't look great when that happens. I'll definitely try my best to avoid that. Ah, yeah, I forgot the brown wash here. And I didn't paint the handle. So you'll notice that when you're going through your guys, stuff you forgot. So we'll come back. I'm going to fix those little errors and wait for all this to dry. Alright, so now we're going to do some dry brushing. We're going to use Averland Sunset on the skin. So we're going to get a trusty thing of paper towel. give your... Wait, do I have another color of this? No. Give it a good mix. You won't have almost barely anything on your brush. And what we're going to do the yellow for is for the skin. You see the difference that makes? It's a nice little highlight. On the ears a little bit. See, and I'm not going too hard on it, just a little bit. There's that little extra something on it, on our skin. Now that there's less on my brush, I can be a little harder with it. It's going to be more subtle anyway, right? So it might get a little more yellow. I find the last guy didn't really show at all. There we go. More what I was looking for. So this guy again. More here. There we go. Alright, so that's good for the yellow dry brush. Now we can go ahead and do some more dry brushing. So don't use the same brush for dry brushing. I even was just tempted to do that. Don't do it because the other color will still show in the last thing you dry brush. So try and avoid also wet spots on your paper towel, because even when you're dry brushing, just that little bit of wetness will affect the paint, and once it gets affected, it's hard to unaffect it, if that makes any sense. Oh, sorry. Alright, so next we're going to dry brush the bases and the fur. So what I'm going to use for that is Tyrant Skull. Rub off most of the excess here. Just work my way around. Work my way around. Jeez. You can see it. That picks up all that detail there. Now I'm going to avoid the black pants because I want to dry brush that white. So I'm going to avoid that part. So I'm going to do all the leather and the round on all the minis. This color. Alright, so I'm going to work my way around doing that on all the minis. Alright, so there's not that much left to do on these guys. They're almost at the finish line here. Sorry, that's a bit bright for you guys, I realize. Let's see. Yeah, I found it a little hard to paint in the less so. Really what's left is the teeth, highlighting the teeth, the tongue, oh, and the rocks. So let's go ahead and do that. I'm going to tell you guys, I do plan on making a video on how to base minis, but I use this, these are like shells, and I break these up either with a hammer. They come like this, but sometimes I want them smaller, you know, for miniature form. So I break these up with a hammer, and then I glue them to the base, but because they're primed, or they're not the color I want exactly, I of course need to paint them. So I'm going to use this color here to paint the rocks, or you can always use rocks, but still suggest you paint rocks to look like rocks. I know that sounds silly, but I do suggest it. So I'm going to go around painting Mechanicus standard gray on all the rocks, and then later dry brush them white. There's just one on this base. There was oh, I almost forgot, there's also a skull. Skull. Jeez, what's happening to me? I guess it's just I'm painting quite in the late hours of the night, so that might have something to do with it. So paint that rock over there. This one over here. Alright, there we go. That's the rocks dealt with, and we're going to go back to our friend Xandri Dust. Paint up, which is also a free file, of course. Everything is on Warlords of Archaios, but there's a little skull there, so we're gonna paint that skull, which you can print for your minis. By the way, everything here is FDM printed, not on a resin printer. They will come out better on a resin printer, obviously. There we go. Skull's painted up. These guys are looking pretty snazzy. Oh, we also have the eyeballs, right? Okay, so before we do the teeth, we should probably do the tongues on these guys. So I think I'm gonna do like a red, maybe a pink, but it's a bit too pink. So maybe put a bit of black in there. We'll see. Mix. Let's see. But too dark. So this is Emperor's Children pink. Oh, actually, since we're here with this pink, so I want to leave this unchanged, this color, and I'm just gonna slightly put this on the elbows of my orcs, the knuckles, the nose a bit, the lips, and under the ears a bit. Everywhere there will be a little bit more blood flow, and I'm wiping it with my finger so it's not as stark, because it's quite, you know, I have a big dollop of it. It's not good. I'm gonna wipe some off, just so it's a little more blended in. So anywhere that there would be, you know, the skin would be thinner. So there we go. That's this guy. This guy now. So again, the lip, a little bit under the nose, under the ears, the elbow, little footsies. Oh, a lot over there. Some knuckles. Gotta be careful with this. Like, I messed it up a little bit on this guy's elbows. You don't want to go overboard with this. You really just a little bit to blend it in. Okay, and then so now for the tongue. So I'm gonna use Abaddon Black to mix that in. We're gonna see how this goes. Seems like it was way too much black. I only put like a little dollop. This isn't working. Okay, maybe a red. Hold on a second. Not blood. Okay, let's try this Mephiston red again. This is experimenting for me. Yeah, this red and pink, kind of nice. Kind of coming out nice. Okay, let's try that. Or it's still just showing up mostly pink. Yeah, still mostly just showing up pink. Actually, no, not entirely. Kind of nice, actually. Yeah, so red and pink going together there, looking nice. It's on his face. It's not as, like, pink. You know, I had to look at my own tongue to remember the color. It's pretty sad, isn't it? So yeah, the pink and the red seem to work pretty good. So what I did, I'll show you guys. I got the pink and the red, and then I kind of mixed them here at the middle. It's giving me this kind of, it's kind of the same pink, but not as intense. There's a bit of red in it. Yeah, no shit, Dario, but sometimes I have to look back and see if I'm actually painting in the camera. Yeah, I am not painting in the camera. I'm sorry, guys. Show you kind of where their tongues are. It's not super obvious anyway, these guys. Here, wait. See See, like, I guess you can kind of tell where their tongues are. So yeah, so pretty happy with how that color came out. It's more of a muted pink, so which is good. The black, it just ended up being gray. So yeah, that didn't work. All right, so the tongues are done. Time for the teeth, to highlight the teeth. Okay, all my things here. Use this color, Screaming Skull. And we're going to get our friend here, the What palette. We're going to just put that over there. I should probably have this on the left side. I should probably have the camera on the left side. No, funny enough. So what we're going to do is the tip, obviously, we want bright. And then just near the base, we're going to leave a little bit of that base color showing. That's about it. It's that simple. And it's better to leave, kind of do this like, almost like a flame. Here, let me see if I can bring that up to the camera so you can see it. Come on, focus. See, there's like triangles in the tooth. It just looks so much better, but obviously that's not always easy. The way to do that is to have a really sharp tip on your brush. So one of my friends always used to be, "Go have a fine tip on your brush." Yeah, sorry, that was cringe. All right. I'm also going to try and do it here on his tusks on his helmet. So I'm pretty happy with that. And over here, he's got little teeth in front of his tongue there at the front. Not super obvious at all. I don't even think you could see that on camera, but oddly enough. Yeah, just pick those out. Actually, one of these guys' tooth broke, but it actually kind of looks nice. Helps differentiate the boars a little bit, so I don't mind too much. And I was gonna say my tips are flat, but yeah, these tips here. Okay, and I'm gonna paint this guy his teeth over here. This guy's teeth. Again, you want to leave a little bit of that vomit color, as I said before. All of a sudden, when I'm filming a video, I'm popular. Then nobody wants to talk to me when I'm not filming a video. Very orky. Very orky, yeah. I love me some orcs. Sometime at night, talk to myself and say stupid things. I feel like I leave these videos on, kind of watch Striking Scorpion paint minis, because his videos are kind of same format. I really like his videos, and they're kind of similar format. Very turn on the camera and just paint. Although sometimes I turn off the camera. I'm trying to focus. Oh, I almost forgot. I forgot the feet. The hooves. So for the hooves, we're going to try and do here. Actually, I might just leave them orange like that. Yeah, like that dirty ivory. Hold on a second. Alright, so yeah, I decided I was going to do this more intense thing. So you see, so I'm going to take that cream color and cover most of the hoof, and then mix my brown and a black to get this really dark brown, and then draw these thin lines. So yeah, it's a pain. You don't have to do that. You could even leave them that original color. I just want to go that little extra little bit, but I'm going to show you how to do it in case you want to do it yourself. So, like here, you cover most of the hoof. Don't do the back, because that could be that, you know, cover most of the hoof. This one you can barely see, we won't touch it. Cover most of it here. The one I tested on was really easy because it was nice in the air, so it's going to be a lot easier to do. These are going to be a little harder to do, obviously. It's the ones that are just like really hard to get at, I don't even bother. I'll do those. This black hoofy here is going to be really easy. These ones in the front should be easy for me to show you what I was talking about. Oh, can't even see what I'm looking at. By the way, this is Screaming Skull, so I'll show you the paint in this. Okay, so I'm covering most of the hoof, and then I have a mix over here. You can see here on the palette, it's between black and brown. It's just a bit of black inside the chocolatey brown, which is Mournfang brown. So this, Mournfang brown and Abaddon black. If you really want a thin tip on your brush, I'll show you with this hoof over here. And I'm just going to draw these lines basically, have them connected a little bit, or if they swerve a bit, not so straight and near the top, you can connect them. Yeah, and I don't know, I just really like the way that looks. Like, I didn't get a fine tip there on the brush. There we go. Two. Okay, and I'm running out of juice here on the these guys are coming along. Alright, so next. Let's try and paint the eyes of my orcs. It should take 2 seconds. Just get some Mephiston red. By the way, I'm going to try having all the paints names in the description. So I'm going to paint their eyes now. Also, I got some pink on the armor over here. Fix that. See his eyes? Looking very evil. Seems I got some on this guy too. Just cleaning up some of my mistakes here. Sorry. There we go. So I did their eyes. Now we can do the boar's eyes. It's really simple. I like to kind of make these guys' eyes funny. So for the boar's eyes, I do white with a small pupil in the middle, small black pupil in the middle. I need my Abaddon black. Actually, oh, they look like they dried. I was gonna say you might want to wait a second for that to dry before you go on and put the black, but actually it looks like it dried. And literally just poke a dot in his eye. See, it looks pretty funny. Alright, so that's done. Now, time for a wash on the boar's skin. They're looking a bit too clean for some piggies. So we're going to put a wash on some of their skin, Agarax Air Shade, and some of it not. So where there's folds and stuff, that's where we're going to put the wash. So I'm going to grab some of the wash here. Kind of follow the folds here. Trying to remember where they are. It's a little hard to see them. There you go, so you can see that's a lot more obvious This guy doesn't need, he's wearing the mask, the armor. The other guy too. There we go. So they did their folds of skin there. I feel like adding a scar to one of these boars. So I'm going to use this technical paint here. Blood for the blood god. And add a scar to, I think, maybe this brown boar over here. Actually, I don't like it. So I'll just wipe it off. But you could do that if you wanted to. But I decided, actually, I don't like it. Better it's actually in the detail of the model. Or else it just, I don't know, looks like ketchup to me. So let's turn that off. There you go. You can see them. They're pretty much finished. I might just touch them up a bit. And we'll get a shot. Oh, we forgot the dry brushing on the rocks, the white dry brushing. If you're doing rocks, you might not be doing any rocks. So get a dry brush. You know the drill at this point. If you watch my other videos. Ooh, this maybe isn't dry. The rocks are good to go. Now we just stick the tufts. And I'll get a final shot. Alright, so this is the finished... Oh. Turn off my fan, it's so noisy. So yeah, this is the finished result. Let's lower that. There we go. That's the finished result. So thank you guys so much for watching. This is Daria from Warlords of Archaios. And happy wargaming. Oh, I almost forgot. Don't forget to comment, like, subscribe for more free miniature 3D printing goodness. Until next time, happy wargaming.